Chairman, sir. So the government is today moving the Motor Vehicles Amendment Act 1988, and after a lot many discussions in the Lok Sabha, it came to the Rajya Sabha and Rajya Sabha referred it to the Select Committee. Mr. Sahasra Buddhe is not present. He was the chairman of the Select Committee, and we deliberated for over 3 months. Clause by clause we went, and a lot of discussion and serious discussions. So what came to the light? On the first place, I'd like to start from Mr. Minister, who said that before the bill was made, all the transport ministers of the states were taken into confidence. So from here starts the indecisiveness, because when the transport ministers of all the states were given the draft copy of the bill and all the good things, if you would have heard Mr. Sahasra Buddhe, he said all the good things about the bill. Yes, there are certain good things in the bill which need to be supported, and that is what he stuck to, and that was also sent to all the states, from Tamil Nadu to Kashmir, from Gujarat to Assam. Everybody got that draft bill, and everybody okayed it. And when it came back to the department and went to the standing committee, all the provisions which were added never went back to the states. So this is where the new provisions were inserted into the existing bill, which was later on passed by the Lok Sabha and went to the Select Committee in Rajya Sabha. In this, many provisions are there which was dwelled upon threadbare in the Select Committee, but to our surprise and to no avail, none of our amendments were taken up by the chairman, or the recommendation were like taken a dissent note. So when we talk about this particular bill now, again put in the Parliament, in the House for approval and passing, though there are certain good provisions, but the biting thing, which all the member Parliament who had objections, including me, and I have also given an amendment on that, when you suggest various new amendments to the bill, good things, you need the state government to implement it. So how does the state government implement when you on the bill, in specifically clause 29, clause 33, you specifically say that central government should be authorized to make its own law. Own law where? If it had been only implementation, still no problem. In the bill, it is said that in consultation with the state, consultation can always be overruled. That is why we had asked for an amendment. Can you make it concurrence with the states? Concurrence means it will be binding for both state and the central government. In specifically clause 33, section 88A, we are not talking only about last mile connectivity, we are also talking about rural transport, and we are also talking about freight movement and logistics. Now every state, sir, here has a different characteristics. Some are mountainous states, some are mineral-rich states, some are forested states, some are coastal states. Now when you say about last mile connectivity, and you talk about public transport also, and you talk about freight movement also, you are taking away the basic state revenue chapter of every state. Many states have got the revenue transport department, which are a great revenue earner. So when you will have a central policy by law, and if it is in consultation can be overruled, that means central will have its own ways. But it will have its own way, but where are the means? How do they operate? You can't operate in Odisha from, say, Delhi. So again, you have to go back to the state. So there are duplicity in what we are doing, trying to say and trying to do. So unless either the bill is amended and put concurrence, the word consultation is changed with concurrence, or this clause may totally be deleted. Similarly, in clause 90, the new subclause put in 215 A, B and C, again you are allowing the state government to overrule it, but again there is a comma in it. How to go about it? So somewhere there is a clash between, there will be a clash between the interest of the state governments and the central government. It will hamper the revenue, number one. And the biggest danger what is there is, when we have been harping, cutting across party line, job creation, business creation, MSME, small and medium scale, all these things we are saying, these are all there in that last mile connectivity and freight and logistics. Now, if this thing is not formulated by states and the policies are formulated by central government, there are bound to be a clash of interest between the state and the center. So this will ultimately pave the way for corporatization of transport sector. So now the small people, marginalized people who are owning one truck or a bus or a small motor vehicle doing the rural transportation or the rural freight movement will be totally wiped out. If suppose the government takes a decision from X place to Y place, cutting across 2 or 3 states, X company need to be given or it will be tendered, and somebody gets, so he gets the right to move the entire thing, whereas the locals get left out. This will have serious ramifications on the state revenue and will lead to corporatization, and definitely if these things come ahead and there's a clash, it doesn't augment well for the federal structure. I'll come back to Mr. Sahasrabudhe. He again mentioned one more thing. Nowhere in the select committee the minister had gone. In this particular select committee, Honorable Minister had come. And we raised these issues. He had given assurance that when it comes to the House, I'll take cognizance of the matter and delete it or change it. Now the matter is, should I support it? Because the minister has assured me, but if it does not, and it becomes a law, then definitely everything is lost. So I've got nothing, no words to say, but I have to oppose the bill. If the minister only says that what he had promised in the select committee, that he'll look into the matter in the House and do it when the bill is being passed, if so, then we'll be on the bill. But if it does not, we'll oppose the bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Pratap.